Welcome to Football with Cheese. In this video, we're going to break down the drafts for the AFC South. So if you're not subscribed, please do so now and hit the bell for notifications. So we're going to start with the Texans. I have a love-hate relationship with this draft. I don't mind trading out of the first round like they did. I think they were going to take Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State, but he went the pick before to Minnesota. So they moved back from 25 to 34. Here's the problem. And if you watched my first round recap, I went into this more detail, but they did not get enough to move out of the first round. When you as a first round pick on a prospect, you control them for 5 years. There's a 5th year option. Every pick after that, starting in the second round, you only control them for 4 years. So to move out of the first round, you need to get a lot. And they only got pick 99, a late third round this year, and a third next year. If they had gotten pick 65 this year, or gotten a second next year, I'd have been okay with this. Plus, the Giants moved up for a quarterback. And usually you pay more for a quarterback when you're moving up in the draft. So I did not like the value. And you know they could have gotten more because the Falcons, next pick, traded up and gave up a future first rounder and a second rounder to the Rams. So you know the Falcons had to be calling. Plus the Eagles were calling teams ahead of them, trying to get Jihad Campbell. Maybe you could have moved back to 32. I just don't think they got enough. But the next 3 picks were terrific. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State. They needed another receiver. They picked him 34. I had him 31. I heard he was going early second round. I think New England would have taken him at 38 if he had been there. It's funny, his comp is Nico Collins, and he's on the Texans. He was a third-round pick out of Michigan 4 years ago. Absolute draft steal. So you got them on the outside, and we'll come back to Ursery in a second. Then you take Jalen Noel, Higgins' teammate, to play slot receiver. All of a sudden, this receiving room is looking really good. If Tank Dell can ever stay healthy, that 1 through 4 is incredibly talented. Jalen Noel is fast and explosive. Unbelievable after the catch. He's undersized with short arms and small hands. But I had him 41. And they got him in the 70s. CJ Stroud's got to be ecstatic. And then they got Arante Ursery from Minnesota in the middle of the second round. So during the season, Ursery really moved up boards. A lot of people thought he'd go late first round. But then when the draft process started, he slipped to the middle of the second round. This is about where I had him going. He went 48th overall. I had him 48th. Crazy. I think the big problem with him is he didn't have the great length, who probably has to play right tackle. And he's got a really strong upper body, and that helps him a ton. But he doesn't bend well. He plays straight up, and he gets away with it in college because he's got such a strong upper body. But he's got to improve the bend. Could have some trouble with speed rushers. Those 3 picks really helped the offense. And the Texans obviously need offensive line help. Then the draft started going downhill for the Texans, in my opinion. Jalen Smith, USC, just not the best athlete for the position. I thought he was a 6th or 7th round, take a flyer on, maybe play special teams, maybe be your 4th or 5th corner. And they took him in the 3rd round. And Woody Marks, same thing. I think he'll be a good 3rd down back. But I thought he was more 5th, 6th round. So those picks just were huge reaches. There's much better players on the board. Jalen Reed, safety from Penn State, he probably needs to play in a 2-deep zone safety. I don't think he can play single high, but he could develop into a deep safety in a cover 2. Graham Mertz, I don't think he was going to be drafted. He's coming off a torn ACL, inconsistent. He projects as your practice squad quarterback. Maybe you can call him up in an emergency. Keontae Hamilton from Rutgers, undersized defensive tackle. Another player I didn't think would be drafted. He has trouble getting off blocks. And Luke Lachey, tight end Iowa. Why not? I thought he could have gone 5th, 6th round. He's got good size. He's 6'6", so maybe he projects to be a 3rd tight end that you can use in the red zone. So not the best draft to me. Probably the worst in the division. But I did like these 3 picks right here. Next is the Colts. Oh, look. Colts, Jaguars, Texans all next to each other. That's helpful. Okay. Tyler Warren. Outstanding pick, one of the best picks of the first round. Great athlete, great player, great character. You can use him in a lot of ways. Maybe he fell because of the position. People just don't value tight ends in the first round, but the Colts absolutely nailed it with this pick. And their second pick was terrific as well. I'm going to just call him JTT because his name is hard to say. One of the best power edge rushers in the entire draft. He fell to the second round, mainly because most of his moves are power moves. He doesn't have that quick first step get off. But his workout was better than I thought. Probably moved him from the third round into the mid-second. The only pick I really had problems with is Justin Wally, Minnesota, in the third round. I thought he was more of a fifth or sixth rounder. He's undersized. He was not consistent. He takes too many chances. I saw a lot of games where he got burned pretty bad. And he's undersized. Jalen Travis, Iowa State, worth a fourth round pick. Really athletic. Tremendous size, 6'7", 340. He might be able to develop into a starting tackle, maybe even left tackle. Problem is, his technique is sloppy. His hand placement is poor. Not a good run blocker at all. Needs a lot of work. But like I said, he's a great athlete, and Colts love athletic players. They just got to develop them. DJ Giddens, great pick in the fifth round. This is a steal. I thought he could go in the third round. He maybe doesn't have the greatest feet, that one-cut ability, but he runs with power, very productive at Kansas State. Well, he'll probably back up Jonathan Taylor. Good value there. Riley Leonard, I wasn't sure he'd be drafted, but sixth round, why not? He's athletic. So even though he's an inconsistent passer, I want my backup in the NFL to at least be able to scramble and have athleticism. Because let's be honest, most backup quarterbacks don't throw the ball consistently enough, so why not have a good athlete? So I get this pick. Tim Smith, maybe not the best athlete, the defensive tackle from Alabama, but he had a good Senior Bowl, and I heard some third, fourth round rumblings, so sixth round, good value. And Hunter Warler, safety from Wisconsin, had an unbelievable workout. He was better in 2023 than 2024, but this is all about special teams. Maybe he can develop into a starter down the line, and Jacksonville's right next to him. Okay, Jaguars. So they took the biggest risk in the draft when they moved from 5 to 2 and gave up a second rounder and a first next year. I just hope for the Jaguars' sake they make the playoffs so it's not a high pick. If they have another bad season and this is the 7th or 8th pick, wow, what a great move by the Browns. But Travis Hunter, I thought this was a bigger risk. Most people really love this draft or really don't like it. And I hate giving up future draft capital, so I didn't love this move. But if Hunter ends up being a Hall of Famer, this is a great move. I just don't think he can play corner and receiver long term. Maybe 2 or 3 years. But by year 4, I think he has to pick. And you traded up and gave up all this draft capital for a guy that's going to play a non-premium position. Now, he'll play it great. I think he's the best zone corner in this draft. And I think he's the best receiver in this draft. But if he has to play one position long term, then this was not the best move. Basically, Jaguars, their picks, I really liked them or really didn't. No in between. Caleb Ransall in the third round. Cornerback Tulane, great athlete, terrific measurables, did not have a great year, was better in 2023. I thought he was more of a late round pick. Even if they draft him in the fourth round, that would have been better value. Just feels like a reach to me. Wyatt Meelam, love this pick. Late third round, I thought he could go in the second. He didn't have the best Senior Bowl, but I think he can play guard or center, and he finished his blocks well, very high character. I think he'll start at guard or center for them long term. Bishal Tootin, another great pick, fourth round. He is so explosive, great outside zone runner. Had some fumbling issues, but I think he's the best running back on the Jaguars currently on the roster because Etienne has been somewhat of a disappointment. Jack Kaiser, Notre Dame, linebacker, great character, great instincts, not the best athlete, undersized. Thought he'd go more sixth round, probably as a special teamer only. Jalen McLeod, sixth round. I like this pick. He's undersized. He's a designated pass rusher only, but sixth round, this is good value. Rayon Lane, I don't know how to say his name, the Navy safety. Another guy, I did not think he'd be drafted, probably a special teamer only, but, late sixth round, I get it. Jonah Monheim, I love this pick, center from USC. There were some people thought he could be a fourth round pick, and others that didn't have him in the top 400, and 250 players get drafted. Not the best run blocker, but he played all over the place at USC. I think he can develop into backup center. So seventh round, good pick. And then LaQuint Allen, Syracuse, undersized back. Probably drafted him to be the number 3 running back on your roster and return man, but just good explosion, good speed. Not great, maybe at anything, but good value here in the 7th round. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went in the 5th round. So overall, Up and down draft for Jacksonville. I just don't love giving up all that draft capital. They could have sat there in 5 and gotten Mason Graham, and they really need a defensive tackle, and they did not draft one. So, one team left, the Tennessee Titans. So if you love Cam Ward, you love this draft. I was not as high on him than most. To me, he would not have been a top 4 quarterback selection in last year's draft, maybe not top 5. He's the best quarterback in this draft. He's got upside. He's got a good arm. He's a good athlete. He can make all the throws. But he fumbled too many times and just threw too many passes that either were intercepted or should be. So he may not be great year 1, but if he cleans up the turnovers, this could be a great pick. And he does have top 10 quarterback upside. To me, Ward and Jalen Miller are the only quarterbacks that have that upside. Just a weak quarterback class. Olufemi Oladejo in the second round. Good pick. I had him in this range. Really good run defender. Really high character. Had a good Senior Bowl. I think he's got pass rush upside. Big need for the Titans as well. And then Kevin Winston Jr., safety from Penn State. If he didn't get hurt, he would have gone much higher than this. He projects as a box safety, good athlete. So they had a really good day too. They did trade back in the second round and got these 2 picks, Oladejo and Winston, out of it. I think they were going to take Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State that the Texans selected. They picked 35th. Higgins went 34th, so then they moved down. That's just a guess. I don't have any sources on that. But at least you turned it into Oladejo and Winston. So good job there. The one pick I didn't like, only one, was this pick. Chimere DK. I think that's how you pronounce it. No, it's not pronounced how you think it is. Wide receiver of Florida. Here's the thing. He ran well. He projects as a slot receiver, but he wasn't as good after the catch as a lot of slot receivers in this draft. I thought he was a late round pick. Maybe he can be a return man. Just shocked, especially with Jalen Royals on the board. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to keep saying it. Jalen Royals is better at just about everything than DK. I thought for sure the Titans were taking Jalen Royals with this pick because they needed a receiver. We'll come back to home. Alec Aomaner, Stanford. I had him in the 50s. He's a much better prospect than DK. Different prospect. So Aomaner made some great catches. He's got long speed. He's about 6'1", 205. He didn't have the best 10-yard split, but he ran 4.44. So once he gets going, I think he can be a deep threat in this league. Doesn't have the best get-off, and he's a willing blocker. He will give effort in blocking. I thought San Francisco would take him maybe in the 3rd round. So that's a great pick to get him late 4th. I just don't understand this DK pick. To me, it's a major reach. Gunnar Helm had a pretty poor workout, but very productive tight end. He's undersized, maybe not the best run blocker. Probably would have gone day 2 if he worked out better. Love this pick, Jackson Slater, Sacramento State. Listed as a guard here. I think he can develop into a starting center as well. Good athlete. There were talks he could go in the 3rd round, so another good pick for the Titans. Marcus Harris, cornerback Cal. Not a really good run defender. He ran really well. Maybe he can be a number 4 or 5 corner, play special teams. And then Khalil Mullings, Michigan. He's a power back all the way. Not very elusive. Short yardage, goal line back only. But in the 6th round, why not? And that is the AFC South Draft Recap. So, if you are not subscribed, please do so now. Hit the bell for notifications. If you enjoyed this, please give a like. It helps the channel out so much. Share this with anyone who loves football. We can grow the channel. I think I'm at 99 subscribers. So, just one more and I'll hit 100. I really appreciate everyone. So check these videos out if you have not. For Texans fans, this one is going over the 2 Iowa State receivers that you guys took in the 2nd round. The other one is my NFC South recap. And I will see you guys in the next video.